You can, because it is your house and you did not take over loan subject to, and it's your underlying loan. So check with your attorney on that one, Texans. All right. So I put them in a house. They owe me $132. They give me $3, and they're giving me $600 a month rent. Now $600 a month rent, pretty cheap rent for a $150,000 house class. Yeah. Okay, another advantage to the tenant buyer. I'm not after maximum monthly rent here. I don't need to get top dollar out of it. I'm happy to give them concessions on the monthly rent. But I'm going to put them under a time constraint by which that rent's going to stay low. Give them plenty of time to fix it and give me cash down. Give me time to clean up their credit. But I'm not here trying to make a living, trying to get $1,000 a month rent out of this house. I want them to feel comfortable with their monthly rent. And remember, all the time they're in this house, they're also having to come out of pocket to spend money for repairs. Now, if later on in this book, we actually decide to put up the money to do the repairs for them, does that give me a license to charge more rent? Well, you better make a note in here right now, because I might not say that later. If I put up money for repairs, charge more rent. All right, look at all the stuff that happened down at the bottom. Number 2 is the really important one. You get $15,000 out of your repair escrow as soon as the tenant repairs the house, and $15,000 at closing. What closing? Purchase, not sale. I got 15 grand the day I bought that I can use to attend more boot camps with. That was a subliminal message. All right. Plus I got 15 set aside. It is really my money. I just can't spend it yet. Plus I got $3,000 for my tenant buyer because I closed my sale same day I closed my purchase. See, the attorney does all that crap. I just run in there and let the attorney do all that paperwork. Paperwork for your case is almost nil. And in fact, I got the lease option agreement for it for equity in the book, but nobody in this room is ever going to fill one out. Because if I catch you doing it, I'm going to spank you. Who fills out agreements? Attorneys do that, don't they? Yeah, not you. I just put it in here so you can see the agreement. You can see the cool $6,000 agreement that I dropped in your lap for free. That's why it's in here. Oh, you're welcome. You're lucky. You get a big check when the tenant buys or refis. And we're going to go with that. We get monthly cash flow. And I'm telling you guys, the cash flow on this thing, to me, is as important as the upfront money, because cash flow is what keeps us able to survive. It's what gives us the money to sit back and think and grow without being strangled. And it fixes one problem in real estate. And that problem is we don't know when our next check's coming. You know, I get a lot of people coming in and out of the job market, and it's a pretty big jump to come from where you get a check every Friday to where you get no checks and don't know where the next one's coming. It destroys peace of mind and puts stress on relationships. But when you know you got a handful of houses out here paying $600-700 a month, and you know where the next check's coming, at least you got the consistent cash flow. And the only thing you got coming out of that is taxes and insurance, and you don't even pay those but once a year. And you probably will never write a check for either one of them because your house might be cashed out. Well, you will for insurance for sure. But remember, when you got this loan up here, didn't insurance get paid the day you closed the loan? So your first year's policy is already paid, so it's not even, if you cash out within your first year, you'll never write another insurance check. Yeah, get a refund. Okay? Plus you're going to get future deposits when some of your tenants move out. You're going to learn that people moving out is not necessarily a bad thing. Just remember, every time they move, they forfeit their deposit, and the house is probably in better condition than that which they moved in. See, there's one good thing about putting people in ugly houses. They can't make them ugly. They're already ugly. So what are they going to do? The worst is nothing. Well, okay, that's how you put them in there. What do you got to lose? What if they don't repair it? What do I care? They're living in it. They don't repair it right. Who they got to blame? Themselves. If the lender says it's okay, I say it's okay. I'm not going to live in it. Well, what if they move out and don't fix it? What if the next guy moving in will fix it? Well, what if they don't? What if you get hit by an airplane and get in your car today? You have no holding cost. How come? Because you don't have a vacant house. You get paid to hold it, not paying to hold it. Most of the closing costs will pass to your buyer. That's a beautiful thing. When I put my tenant buyer in there and they're doing all the work, I'm not going to pay all that crap I paid on the house I cashed out of this week. It's ridiculous. I only basically paid it to help the realtor more than anything else so they could get their commission check and get that buyer closed. Which incidentally took 2 months. 30 days beyond when they had it set to close, it wound up closing. That's how bogged down they are and how screwed up the system is out there. It's another one of those things I don't like about rehabbing and retailing for cash. It's in the control of the lenders. When you get paid, I hate that. No contractors, no repairs to do, at least 50% more profits, so we figure out why. And here's the bottom one, number 12, is big. Here's the biggie. You can do 5 of these for every one rehabber you're doing. You can create 5 times the income, 5 times the growth, 5 times the equity, 5 times the cash flow, because you're not bogged down with costly entanglements called renovations. So look at the net profits comparison on this. This is a mind-boggling chart right here. But hey, it's true. It's just simple math. I'm on page 9. It's math. You can't lie. Math doesn't lie. On the left, we bought the house. We went to a seminar. We were taught to rehab. We like it. We're cool. We make something pretty out of something ugly. We're looking for that qualified buyer. We still buy the house for $70,000. It's worth $150. But in this marketplace, is it reasonable to assume you're not going to sell it for $150? Yes or yes to a qualified buyer? I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt. I'm only knocking it down to $140 for you. I say you're probably going to take a bigger hit than that. Why? Because there's a lot of product out there for people to pick from right now that are qualified. That's why. Can you still find those buyers? Absolutely. But do you have pressure on the price? Yes. Okay. So sell it for $140. I'm not collecting any rent because nobody's in the house. Purchase price is still minus 70. Now I did the repairs, so I got to take the other $15,000 out that I spent. I got to subtract 6 months interest. If anybody in this room doesn't think you're going to pay 6 months interest buying and renovating and cashing out of a house, all that means to me is you haven't done one yet. In fact, if you get in and out in 6 months, you did good. Now, will some of them take less? Will some of them take more? Should we easily use an average of 6 months? And how do we get to an average? Some more, some less, average, middle. Right, Rick? CPA, explain average to you. Okay. Miscellaneous cost, $10,000. Well, what's that, Ron? There ain't no way I'm going to spend $10,000 selling a $140,000 house. Oh, really? I just told you it cost me $13,000 to cash out of a $98,000 house. Now, granted, that did include real estate commission. But also granted, you're a $140,000 house, not a $98,000 house. You're going to spend $10,000. And you're going to be darn lucky if you get by with $10,000. Very lucky. But remember now, that includes the cost of finding the buyer and then the cost of getting the buyer through the system, qualified, and all that junk that's on that HUD-1 that you have no control of that the seller almost always pays. So you got a net 41.5. Nothing wrong with that, is there? Who'd be happy net 41.5 on a $140,000 sale? Yeah, all of you should be raising your hands. That's a lot of money. That's as much as some of you make in 3 or 4 months' work on a job. Assuming you had a job, right? And if I'm selling houses like this, am I in long-term capital gains or short-term? I'm in short-term. Short-term means 35% tax bracket. You say, well, Ryan, I'm not no 35% tax bracket. I'll say, well, class, you will be. You do a couple of these a year. But you're in 35% tax bracket. And there it goes to Uncle, which you know they need the money now. And they're going to need more of it. And just for the record, if you think the 35% tax bracket is going to stay at 35%, you don't watch much television. Your taxes are going to go up in this country almost as much as the Canadians. But you're going to get free health insurance. Yeah. Free, yeah, free. Look, whether you like it or not, you're paying taxes. One way or another. You're going to pay them peacefully or forcefully, but you're paying the taxes. You're going to pay them with penalties or without penalties, but you're paying the taxes. Right, Rick? Uncle is your partner, and you get 35% of that net. So you netted $26,975. Not bad, still not bad. Now, but just look at the right-hand column now. Same house. Sold it as is for $135, but I collected, we're assuming 12 months rent. It took me 12 months to get my guy qualified and get him cashed out, which is about a good average. Okay? So I collected $7,200 in rent, plus the $135. I still paid the $70, but I got no repairs. Why? Because my buyer's doing them. I got $7,000 in interest because I kept it a year. 7% of $100,000 is $7,000, so I got $7,000 in interest. In reality, that's coming out of my net profit. My miscellaneous cost on this one's only about $3,000 on the back end because I'm not going to pay near the amount of closing costs I paid over here when I'm looking for that almighty cash out buyer. I might have to pay more than that. I don't care. Give or take. There's plenty of room. If I had to pay more. Now I'm down to 62.2 gross profit, but since I've kept it a year, I'm in a 15% tax bracket called long-term capital gains, which you Canadians have as well. Can't remember what the number is. I think it's 20%. They have them up there too. So I got an after-tax profit of 52.8. Guys, I got 50% more pre-tax profit and 100% more post-tax profit because I did the work for equity over the buy and rehab and sell for cash. Which one's better? Work for it. Yeah, but I need my money now. I want paid now. Oh, let's turn the page and see if we get paid now. Let's look at our cash flow. Now, does cash flow have anything to do with net profit? Say no. In fact, could you have a net profit and still have lousy cash flow? Could you have great cash flow and have zero net profit? Yes. So the previous page was net profit. This page is just pure cash flow. All right, our first chunk of cash came from the day we closed the loan. We got $15,000 we could call our own. That's closing costs. And our next chunk of cash came from the day we got the buyer to finish the repair list so we could take the money out of the repair escrow. And just between you and me and the lamppost, I'd never take all the money out of the repair escrow until the house is cashed out and gone. Because you may have to repair it. You may have to put some money back into that house later. Smart business decision would be to leave at least $5,000 of that money in that account even after the tenant buyer gets the house in good shape to prepare for things to go wrong. Do things go wrong where you live? Well, if you don't know that, it just means you haven't done anything so it can go wrong yet. Things go wrong. Murphy lives here. Prepare for it. Don't be naive and expect things to go everything to go right like they do in the seminars. Out there in the real world, you have to adapt and overcome and fix things. So the more money you set aside for those contingencies, the more proud you are of yourself for having been smart enough to set that money aside. Don't spend it all. Now, when the house cashes out, there's another bonus. Go to that escrow account, snatch another $5,000 out of there, and take your family out and buy them the biggest, best dinner in town. And if it's in Jacksonville, you're going to bring them to LeGrand's seafood and steak. As soon as I get it open, that's a plug. All right. And then the day you lease it, you get another $3,000, which preferably is the day you close the purchase. So you've got at least $18,000 the day you bought the house that you can call your own in this particular case, and 15 not very long thereafter. Come on, that's good, strong cash flow. And remember, you didn't get much of that from your tenant buyer, so you're not relying on the marketplace with huge amounts of money bringing them to you. Now, the day you cash out, you get another $22,000. Look down at the bottom. That's your $132 that they owe you, minus the $107 that's owed on the loan, and the $3,000 in closing costs that you're going to pay. You got another $22,000, an incentive to get that buyer qualified and get them to the closing table. But just for the record, would you be okay if you didn't get that $22,000 right now? Yes? All right. Would it be in your best interest if you didn't get that $22,000 right now? Because the minute you get that $22,000, what do you got to pay? Income taxes. Ladies and gentlemen, you do not pay income taxes on any of this money except the rent during this whole time that you still own the house. In addition to that, if you get that $22,000, the goose died. No more golden eggs. No more monthly income. No more tenants moving out creating more deposits. Hopefully, if we ever get appreciation back, no more appreciation. So the goose died. And you're doing all that to get that measly $22,000 when you've already sucked 33 out of the deal, plus $7,200 for rent. You've already got $40,000 out of the deal. What are you worried about that 22 for? Relax, chill out, let it make you rich. Instead of being in this all hell-bent mode that you got to go cash out everything you get your hands on. Where'd you get this quick turn crap from anyway? It's all about cash and cash flow. Don't let common sense get away from you, and you get overridden by habit.